as a team, as a
Coordinate maybe more.
Like framework inside these organizations. We can put like our bylaws as as a different organizations, and we put our term of reference. We can put our goals, and we can work in one agenda, not in different agenda, inside and outside. We cannot do that.
Oh, I'm sure. I think I was thinking in terms of assessing the needs on the ground, and then using our knowledge and expertise, going back to our native place, and organizing or orchestrating a way to bring that knowledge and expertise here, right? That's what I was envisioning in terms of civic society. And it's hard to assess what is needed because they have so many NGOs here.
And that's where I think the network may come in. The question is, what is the mission of the network? Or how do I envisage the mission of the network? One of them is recognition. You have to find out if I use the medical analogy, you have a disease of a multi-source thing. You have to diagnose the disease. You have to put a label on it. And as a coordinator, as a conduit, as Claudia mentioned or something, first is recognition. Next is deciding what it is. Identification of it. The next stage or phase after the identification is where to from there. If you've identified, then you have to sort of match it with an appropriate feeder outside or somebody who's interested. And then the next stage would be to supply the need, or supply the remedy for it. And that's where the network can play a role.
Okay, I don't want to change the subject, but I think we as NGOs all over the world, our duty first, our role is first of all to preserve our identity in those societies while trying to adapt to the local societies. We have to preserve the Palestinian identity, first of all. Secondly, is to raise the awareness of our environment, those who are around us. Whether we were in America, the American groups that are around us, and in conventions or conferences, workshops, as to the cause regarding the cause of Palestine and its legitimate rights of the Palestinians. Okay. The third thing is to provide services and support to the civil society here, irrespective whether in Jerusalem or in Gaza or in the West Bank. This, I think, the three elements, our role, we should focus. And I said, the IT that was presented yesterday, it's very, very important to keep, in the campaign of preserving identities, you don't want to totally assimilate yourself in the local, because if you get assimilate yourself, I mean you are disintegrating. Okay, but you have to preserve your identity. Secondly, is to I don't say to penetrate into your environment, teach your environment, American or Spanish or the Chilean or Colombian or Canadian.
To launch an awareness campaign.
Yes, awareness campaign. Then we have a role to play and duty towards our people here. We are under occupation, and they need the help. They need the surgeon, like my friend Dapat. They need the funds to be able to sustain themselves, whether through any kind. And I believe in تعددية. ما بيمنعش يكون في بي ان جي او بيكون الكل بيقبل في فلسطين بس what missing is the collective agenda, the national agenda for those organizations and the coordination mechanism. We have to impose coordination mechanism to prevent الفساد اللي بتسمعوا عنه والسرقه والدوبليكيشن وكل الناس. فهذا مهم كثير انه احنا كمان نقول لهم يا جماعه الخير انتم اللي في الضفه ولا هون يعني you have to learn how to work together, coordinate. إذا في لنا 10 قروش نعرف وين نحطهم في المحل المناسب للهدف الأهم. هذا هو. أنا هيك بعتقد.
And I think we have to be practical. We're not going to solve the problems of the world and the problems of the NGOs. This is how I see it. We have groups all over the world.
Yes.
And we have NGOs in Palestine that have enormous needs. And let's say Palestine in its bigger context, including the refugee camps outside, because they're part of Palestine.
Our first step would be mapping of what exists and what are the general needs are. Then we need to communicate this to the different committees outside. The different committees outside would have mapped what exists around them and how this coordination can start. And I think this would be the first step to put us on practical paths. Otherwise, we will be talking forever and not being. And this discussion can be debated, and we would get out of it with nothing. So if we say this is what we want to do in the first year, mapping of what exists, what are the needs, as you said, and start hooking some NGOs together, some civil society.
Okay.
I think this would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. Map what exists in terms of civic groups, identify their needs, and then
Yes,
match.
yes.
Match,
Yes,
okay.
yes. And develop an awareness package from the network here to disseminate.
Outside,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, this is very important.
Really, I mean, well, the main point is networking, to be honest with you. I mean, networking is very essential to find commonalities. Either, local, on the local level or the international level. And I believe that this network, Arab network that we are, in the state of establishing, I think it's very important to have established links and connections with our people, the Palestinian people all over the world. It seems to me that really many Palestinians, out of my past experience, that many Palestinians look for their own interests, individual interests, and they are not concerned much about the Palestinian issue and about linking with the organizations here. Or even sometimes they do not bother to try to launch any kind of awareness campaign. I'm not accusing everybody there, but really, I mean, it seems to me that they are not doing their homework.
We could help them.
Yeah.
I think that idea
Yeah.
of an awareness packet is fabulous. I mean, it can describe to people what we want to do, and it would describe also what we can do for them, and how, connecting them with civic groups here in Palestine could be of benefit to them.
Yeah, but I noticed that in some areas, like in the States, I mean, it differs from a state to another, or even from a city to another. If there is a kind of Arab community, a small Arab community, I mean, they are not active and they are not linked to other organizations. If you go to Chicago or Detroit or or San Francisco, okay, I mean they are much more active. So it seems to me that those groups who live in bigger communities can activate and can inspire and get engaged with people who live in other areas who are, to be honest, kind of inactive.